Hey guys, Usher coming at you today from Raid Shadow Legends. I am not alone. I am joined by my good friend Skratch. I'm not going to call you the full name anymore.
I was waiting to see if you're going to do it.
We just did a collab on Skratch's channel, and now I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. I was like, dude, why did you take the AK-47 off your name? And he's like, bro, it's been off for 2 years.
I never been invisible before.
But I still call him Skratch AK-47. Anyway, Skratch, how you been, man?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Pretty good actually. Yeah, just looking...
Listen. No, sorry, go ahead.
But I just started.
Was just looking to see how we're making this list, right? Because I haven't done personally that a list on the sets in the game, bro. Like we have so many new sets added, it's crazy, right? And no space. Where is the space, Plarium? We need some more space as well, please.
It costs money.
I cannot be the only one, bro, that I'm gonna show you right now. Like, I hope this doesn't say anything about the type of personality that you are, the type of like worker individual, but like right now, lately, I am running off 400 out of 400 in my inbox.
You know, clean up a little first.
Vote, go to the store, buy some more.
And I'm just dreading cleaning up artifacts from like a month ago, I feel like. I'm just like, I hate it. I hate it.
I'm the same, dude. Like, I'm trying to keep that inbox clean, but I need a gear cleanse badly, and I feel like I need it for the last 1 year or so, honestly. And it's just going on and on and on, and just struggling with space. You know, it's crazy, actually. Yeah.
You guys can let us know. Do you guys have that same problem with gear and inbox, or no? Are we just dummies? But anyway, to your point, we're gonna rank our top 10 artifact sets, and there's so many good ones. Similar to your point, Skratch. The last time that I did a video ranking artifact sets, God, was 2 years ago, and I feel like almost none of the sets are going to appear, a couple with a few notable exceptions. So before we get into our top 10, because I can never just make a simple top 10 video.
Oh, God help me.
Is there one set on the list that you love that just didn't make the cut, but you personally love it?
I do have one from the Forge, for example, the Defiant set. You know, I feel like it completely killed the Stalwart, right? So if you were making a tier list like 2 years ago, Stalwart was in the top 10, right?
Yep.
Now, it's just so far off. Like the Defiant is a 2-piece set, 15% damage reduction, and you're getting 10% defense on top of it. So you're just pairing 2 sets, you're already covered, you know? So, and it's just such a good set, you know? Arena, PvE, generally an amazing set, yeah.
I totally agree, and I had this on my initial list, but I had to. It couldn't make the cut because there's so many good sets.
It's hard,
to your point, but you're right.
So hard, yeah.
That's a really good call out. I want to go I want to go with what I think is probably the most underrated set. Again, I don't think it's a top 10, but I wanted to give it a call out, and that is Frostbite.
Yeah.
No one talks about Frostbite, I feel like, maybe with the exception of like end-to-end game, right? Because that's where I feel like players actually use it as like a last set in the arena or something more niche. But I mean, 15% to block freeze debuffs, but a 10% chance to place freeze debuff on the attacker. It's a nasty little addition, right? It's like, hey, this champion's already amazing, and obviously it stacks up to 3 sets. So like, I'm just gonna go ahead and give them another 10% that doesn't require accuracy to land freeze on every attack, you know? It's nice to put on your wave killers in PvE, and it's really nice to put in the arena on an AoE attacker.
Yeah, it's actually awesome on Uko, for example, or other champions like that, you know, because it pairs so well with another stun set or something crazy like that. So much crowd control, you know, so it's actually a pretty solid set, 100%, yeah.
I agree, and that's what we're going to try to do too, is we're going to try to not just tell you our top 10, but we're going to tell you like what type of champion that we like to put them on. Mighty Uko is a great call out, dude. The stun and the frostbite, like it's getting ridiculous, man, the level of knowing you can pull off there.
I know, right?
All right, you go first, man. You're the guest. What is, in no particular order, because it depends on the champion you're using, but what is your favorite? What's your first set?
I'm going to have to go and say Stone Skin, bro, and
okay.
I know a lot of people might hate it because it's everywhere now. It's spread literally everywhere, and it's pretty hard to deal with it if you don't have the right champions. You might not know what to expect. It's a 50-50 chance to get removed or no. But I feel like I got to the mindset where I'm not trying to remove it anymore. You know, I'm just going knowing that it's there, expecting it to be there. You know, and I'm just trying to play around it. But now with the addition of the accessories as well, like they made the whole gearing system in the game insane. They took it to a next level, and I'm loving it. I want to see more of it because having the possibility to build a champion on 2 different sets, like think about Stone Skin and Savage at the same time. Think about Bolster and Stone Skin. Think about double perception and Bolster on my Warlord. You know, like it just opens up so many different possibilities on how we can build champions. And I'm definitely a big sim for it now. Yeah, I'm loving it.
You know what? That's a great point that we actually haven't talked about on this channel. I'm not sure if you have on yours, but the 2 set per champion is pretty ridiculous. You know, that's the next
insane,
level.
Yeah. It's insane. Yeah.
Okay. My favorite thing about listen. Protection and Stone Skin. I almost want to honorable mention Protection. I very well could have. And for the simple fact is, I'm not blown away by Protection gear at all, right? But for the simple fact that it's like, other than Stone Skin and Protection, like there's no other set that I can just get an extra 20 resistance just by throwing 1 piece on, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy with these sets, huh?
It's the 1 piece bonus on both of these. You get the HP on Stone Skin, the resistance. It's like just a beautiful little thing. Like, hey, I have 1 artifact spot open. Boom! I'll throw in a Stone Skin and get an extra whatever HP, 8% HP or whatever it is.
And now you can do that. Like you have your 6 pieces, and now you just randomly have an accessory from the Clash.
Yeah,
just chuck a ring, and you're getting that extra resistance. You know, so it's definitely amazing. I just hope they're gonna make a bit the whole way on how we can access the accessories through the Hydra Clash better for the majority of people, you know.
Agree 100% there. Agree. I wasn't going to mention it, but agree.
I couldn't help it.
You know what? I'm just going to fill in some of the more obvious ones, I guess, starting with Perception. Perception is arguably still the best set in the game, you know. If I could only choose one set, I think, to have, just in general, I think I would probably go Perception, because you get the speed and you get the accuracy. I don't know what else there is to say, other than it's also easy to get, relatively speaking. You know, you do your faction wars. Everybody wants to do their faction wars. Everybody wants their glyphs. You do arena, and then you get it, you know. And then if you're anything like me, you wait till clan versus clan, you summon a bunch of Perception gear, you know, and that's it. So, but it fits probably 75% of champions in this game, you know. Any debuffer in the game. Moreover, any champion that you want to, you know, well, any champion that you just need an extra 40 accuracy for, right? Like champions that you don't necessarily need to build, like a Madame Ceres or a debuffer in the arena, or Sun Wukong with 6 or 7 or 8 or 900 accuracy. It doesn't matter. It's just like the perfect final set to be like, okay, I can slack on the accuracy stat a little bit. I can still get speed, and I'll throw it on this champion. I mean, I'll just to continue to name out champions, Mithrala.
Yeah.
You know, like,
You talk about her again, I'm gonna kill you.
Imagine how tired we are of it.
because by virtue of extra accuracy, I'm also getting resistance on her. So I love this for Mithrala, but you could say that about almost any champion in the game.
Yeah, it's a very versatile set, man. Like you can use it on nukers as a secondary set next to a Savage. You might need a bit of extra accuracy. You can use it on Harima, Soulless, all sorts of champions like this that require a bit of accuracy. You might not want to go 500 accuracy on them, but you might want to go 200 plus accuracy and full damage the rest. And pairing a perception set next to it is great. Plus, how you mentioned, is easier to get, and it tends to be the best gear set on every single account that I go to do a takeover. It's the best set that they have available.
True. I mean, Yumeko, Warlord, I could go on, you know, like it's perfect. You want speed, you want them fast, you want them with a lot of accuracy, you know? So what you got next, man?
I have Lethal as well, and this is a set that comes from the Doom Tower. Now, it's the upgraded version of Savage, man. You're ignoring 25% of the defense and 10% crit rate on it, and you don't need to spend any energy whatsoever to get this done. That's the beauty of it, and that's how they kind of like stopped us from farming dungeons in the last couple of years. I feel like they didn't really realize when they introduced all these gear sets in the Doom Tower that...
Hello there.
All right, so let's just look at this for a moment.
No, I don't want to.
It will have this effect, you know?
Dude,
because,
100%.
Yeah, 100%. And Lethal is such a good set. I'm just hoping for a higher difficulty of the Doom Tower and Faction Wars to be able to get mythical in the future, you know?
I agree, and it's a super valid call out on the like, why waste your, even on a 2-time Savage, whatever, like a Savage special event, it's like, why would I want to do that? I just farm Dark Fae. I make sure that, like, if there's anything I'm never going to skip in Doom Tower, it's Dark Fae, you know? And that's it, you know? And I'm going to save all my crit raise, substat charms, and all my, you know, whatever. And I'm going to get Lethal instead, because you could sit there and burn whatever 10,000 energy and walk away with 1 or even 0 pieces of good Savage. Or you could just focus on farming Dark Fae during that rotation and walk away with almost guaranteed quite a few pieces of lethal. So good call out there. I will say, I'll say the most obvious, I think. And that is, for me, speed is still a top 10 set in the game.
Yeah, it is.
I will say, though, to be fair, I don't think it's as good as it used to be. Like, let me rephrase that because I'm gonna get crap on that. But like when I started playing, like it was speed, and then number 2 was way down after that, lifesteal or something. You know, I don't know. And now we have things like all the sets that we're mentioning today, and I don't want to go list them off because it's gonna be our next sets, right? But like there's a lot of other ways to get speed and a lot of good stats too in the game. That being said, speed is still, especially for early and mid game, it's still an essential set. You can never go wrong 99 times, you know, unless you're making a slow UDK or Mortar Macabre or something, right? You can never go wrong with speed. So yeah, I mean, you want to go first in the arena, especially when farming your Great Hall. It's going to help you there. It's going to help you in PvE as well.
100%, especially with the addition of Live Arena, man, because you see before in Classic Arena, the meta was kind of like go super slow. People were struggling to go slow because they sold all the gear with no speed. And Live Arena came into the game and everybody wanted to go fast. Now it's all
over the
fastest,
place.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's definitely kind of like regaining a bit of territory back to say like this, you know.
For sure. What you got next, man?
I have Bolster, man. Like I'm loving the Bolster
yeah.
set. Again, it's a Forge Pass, a pay-to-win, filthy well Skratch.
Oh, you're the best.
I'm actually loving it. It's basically a regen and a shield set together, you know, and it just pairs so well for arena champions. It's just, and not just for arena, even for PvE, because not everybody's trying to remove the shield from you, but getting that regen together with the shield, man, is just massive for most of the champions, you know, to don't have to worry about them killing them all the time, you know.
I concur. I love that you mentioned that it's not just arena, because I feel like a lot of people just kind of pigeonhole that into like, oh, it's a great arena set, but like anywhere you'd want shield plus heals, it's still great, you know? Only exception being on like a seer team where you can't remove it, right? That's the only exception.
Actually, from what I understood recently, I haven't tested it myself, so don't hold me accountable for it.
You can remove it?
Yeah, people are saying that seer can remove it now, so maybe they changed something in the coding.
You know what, bro? Let's go ahead and find out. Let's do that. Let's do that right now.
Yeah, I'm curious too now.
I'm going to run a little testaruski here, apropos of nothing. So let's go ahead and put, well, I guess it doesn't even matter. Let's just go with...
Yeah, I guess you have somebody on Bolster and you can just go in with her.
I can only think of like 2 champions I have in Bolster, like Marichka. Okay, here we go. Let's the big test right here.
That's the free-to-play champion, right?
Yes, the free-to-play Marichka. Exactly.
I don't like it at all.
All right, so we'll go in this. We'll come in here. Now keep your eye on, let's do this. Let's do another protected buff with Strengthen. Now let's just see what goes away and what stays. Let's slow it down. Now the Bolster stayed.
Okay, so it's not working.
I was
so
like, oh my god, really?
Why, Lord, why?
Okay, so we digress. Bolster, I 100% agree with you. To me, I almost feel like I might overuse it. Like I don't pick a live arena team without Bolster. Like that's my...
Yeah, you need to, bro. Like if no Uko destroys you, like...
Yeah, so I'll always have at least 2 champions built in Bolster in case one gets banned, you know? Or yeah. Okay, next, it's mine, right? I'm just going to go in the current set. I alluded to it a second ago, so I'll stay with it. It's Righteous, man.
Are you sure about that?
Or not Instinct, right? I'm looking at Instinct, and I'm like, wait, that's not.
That's not the one.
Man, you should have told me.
I was having fun.
It is Righteous. Righteous is so good because you get 10% speed, 40 resist, so you get the full resist, and you almost get a full speed set on a 2-piece. I mean, what can I say? I've been crafting this gear as we talk about it, Skratch, but like I'm gonna make sure I use my rank and charms and everything on these sets. What can I say, man? I mean, obviously it can be used anywhere. You know, it's a perfect, like if you don't have a lot of immortal gear to pair with a regen gear, it's nice because you usually want to have resist on your solo champions in speed. But, you know, I don't want to say mainly, but arena, it's so good, right? Because you're building resist onto like a Siffy or something like that, but you still want a lot of speed. You don't have to sacrifice. So basically, any champion that you want to build with high resist, you're better off going righteous like 90% of the time, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, how you mentioned, is 40 resistance, a full set of resistance, and 10 speed. If you're comparing it with the perception, which is 5% speed and 40 accuracy, this actually wins over it, you know? And it's such a nasty set to use from day one, right? All the way to the end. Now, what I've done when we had the Arbiter Call series, right? I had my referrals accounts and I logged in, I claimed all the promo codes, and those referral accounts, they were just stagnating. I haven't really played them. But then I had like, I don't know, 40, 50 pieces of righteous on brand new accounts, you know, which was like, wow, you know, 6-star legendary gear. I was like, this is crazy to start the account like this, you know.
And if you don't have good righteous gear, you know, you mentioned something on our collab on your channel, which resonated with me. It's that like, righteous and bolster, like they're hard to get, obviously, especially for non-big spenders. So I can picture like some people groaning when they're listening to this. But you mentioned on the accounts that you're seeing, you know, your viewers or takeovers or whatever, that like slowly, now that bolster's been around for a year or so or whatever, like people are starting to, even free to plays are starting to have at least like a couple sets of like different, like good gear, you know? So I know it's not ideal to wait a year for a good set, but eventually at least you can get your hands on it, you know?
Yeah, if you max the pass, you can do it as free to play to reach level 50, you know, just do the daily stuff and you're gonna get what you need from it. 100%.
Right. What you got next, man?
I'm gonna go with Relentless, bro. Like,
I was right here ready for you. Okay,
I'm using it so much. And I gotta admit it, before the Hydra came out, Relentless was just a set that was overflowing. Okay, it was just overflowing, and we had the Rotos build, the broken Rotos build with Relentless when they released him. But other than that, we didn't really have many champions to use Relentless on. Doom Priest, maybe Vrask, you know, and that's about it.
Now it's got to be your most used set if you're anything like me or up there.
I really feel like it. I'm using it on Tusks, Royal Guards, Acrisia. I'm using it on Tuhanarak. I'm using it on Ugo. I'm using it on, my God, I can't even remember, on Mishinaki, on everybody. Doom Priest.
Basically, any champion and every champion using Hydra is pretty, but for the most part, with a few exceptions,
for the most
right?
part, yeah, of course, yeah.
And I'm just looking for like all my Hydra champions. I'm like, where the heck are they? I'm like, but yeah, I agree. I mean, I am a firm believer of, to your point, if you're 50-50 on like, okay, let me just go for a DPS is the easiest example, right? Like you might, I have Acrisia on the screen and she might be an extreme example, but you know, Michinaki's a perfect one. Like, oh, I could build it. He does a lot of damage. I could build him for some more damage. Cupidus is the best example, I feel like, because he's an all-out damage dealer. So you might be inclined, or a Trunda, you might be inclined to be like, okay, I'm gonna throw him in Savage or Lethal because they're an all-out damage dealer. Like, it's probably the way to go. No, Relentless will be better off in Hydra because the battles run for so long. So you get those Relentless procs, and it just adds out to be so much more damage.
Yeah, it's an awesome stat.
All right, so Relentless is definitely up there, and it's been around long enough. I feel like Relentless that most people have, you know, at least a couple sets or so. Yeah,
it's hard to get with the tournaments to win them and stuff, but you can get lucky every now and then with a group and stuff like this to pinch a couple of pieces, you know.
So the next one that I have, Skratch, is it's one that I wasn't sure if you were going to have on your list, because what we did was we both made our own list and we compared, and we actually had the same exact sets, honestly. It's not usually the case. I wasn't sure. This is the one that I didn't think you would have, honestly, and it's Reflex.
Do you think you're the only one thinking about this stuff?
So Reflex is one of those sets that used to really suck, but then they gave it a big buff to 40%. And now it's a 40% chance to reduce the random cooldown of a skill by 1 turn. On champions that only have 1 active skill that you want to reduce, it's better off than Relentless, you know, in some situations. So, I mean, I guess that's all I have to say about that, right? So, like, I have Contra the Cyclone. She's my favorite Reflex champion because she only has 1 ability. I mean, Battle Khazar is like kind of another example you could go with, but only 1 active ability. I mean, it's an AoE times 3, and she's putting out like 1 billion debuffs. and it's going to go right to that, and we can just start stacking up tons and tons and tons of debuffs that synergize with the passive because there's nowhere else for that cooldown to go. So yeah, I think it's an incredibly powerful set, although maybe not as widely used as like a Relentless.
Yeah, I don't think it's as widely used. And mainly if we're talking about like champions like enemy max HP nukers, I prefer to have them on Relentless for the simple fact that a lot of times the Hydra might devour a champion, you know, and I need a bit of extra damage to free it. And you see, a Reflex won't really help me to get an extra turn to go and put that damage.
Yes.
But a Relentless would give me the chance to go in, and that's why I prefer it over. But now with the Infinity comms, as an example, the one with Corpulent Cadaver, Brogni, and the rest, I do have Brogni on Reflex, I have Anchorite on the Reflex, I have Lydia on Reflex, I have Lanakis on Reflex, so I have quite a few champions on Reflex, and I'm like, I need to farm more Ice Golem.
I was just going to say that. Of course, you get it in Ice Golem, and the problem is Ice Golem is notoriously known as being the worst geared dungeon in the game. However, I will say, and I'm interested in your opinion on this, after the artifact rebalances, it's certainly changed quite a bit because Provoke is solid, but Cursed is now like a billion times better than it used to be. Retaliation is a lot better than it used to be. So at least there's some reasons to spend a little time in Ice Golem now, right?
Funny enough, Ice Golem is one of the most endgame dungeons to farm now because of all these things that you just mentioned. So Cursed is one of the most desired sets for Hydra because of the Hex, which brings you a lot of damage. So AoE champions, you know, like they work amazing. My Krisk is on Cursed, you know, and other AoE champions. Actually, Anchorite is on Cursed, not on Reflex. My bad on that. Let me correct myself there.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to have that extra Hex. It brings so much damage on the Hydra clan boss. Then Retaliation is a pretty solid set to use as well now, you know, 100%, yeah.
Okay, so we have 2 left. You're up.
I'm going to go with Stun, man. Stun is still
it
the
had
MVP.
To be there.
Yeah, when we're talking about crowd control, it's still the MVP in my opinion.
And I'm going right to the rares. I want to talk about Stun, even though I have like a Mighty Uko and whatnot.
Just think about it like this. Faction Wars, you need crowd control. You're talking about waves progressing in the Doom Tower, like secret rooms. Actual waves, because you might not have seer comps and stuff to just blow them up. Having a stun set to help you out, or a couple of stun sets on your heroes, are like completely changing the game. You know, like from no crowd control to crowd control, to make them lose the turn, to make them don't have the skill decreased with their cooldowns once they are stunned. You know, it's just like super amazing. Yeah,
dude. I mean, the number of rares, I'm showing it in the background right now, Skratch, that I haven't stunned is stunning.
I didn't sign up for this.
I apologize.
Same for my account. I probably have 20 plus champions.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm showing you guys these champions. I got Ashwalker, Kurzar, Deepar, Executioner. I got Soulbond, Bowyer. I got Banshee. I got Elhain. I have a Bizzle. I have Ironclad. But I'm only showing you without the vault, and I got like 18 in the vault, whatever it feels like, you know? So, yeah, I agree. For control anywhere, Stun is still the class of the, you know, the best of the class, I should say. All right, I will go with the last but not least. It's probably another obvious one. I can hear the people being like, wait, they haven't mentioned this. But I feel like over time, Regeneration has gone from a solid set to a, man, if you're anything like me, bro, like I feel like almost every player is like, yeah, I wish I had more good Regeneration gear, because it's like you want it on so many champions, and you know there's only so much to go around. But Regen allows for solo content, and it's just a good set in general. But Regen plus Immortal is the quintessential combo, and honorable mention to Immortal and Cruel gear as well. It's that quintessential combo that you want, like any champion that's going to be doing solo content on your entire game to have, and it became even more important in areas like Sand Devil. You know, when they introduce new content, a lot of players, if they have them, they run a champion like Walking Tomb Drang or a Ninja or and obviously Godseeker and Neri, all in Regen. You know, so
100%, man. Like I have the same situation with the stun. I have so many champions on Regen, you know, and I cannot stress it enough for newcomers to the game to try and prioritize a bit of Fire Knight on the low stages as fast as possible to put their hand on one Regen set. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect, just get one Regen set, guys. It's gonna take you so far. Not only that, it will enable you to have a chance to solo some of the Doom Tower bosses early on, because you can do it with some of the champions without having insane stats, especially on the normal Doom Tower. But it will enable you to get some awesome rewards, and it will take you so far, honestly. Like, Regen is an absolute beast of a set, yeah.
There it is, guys. Those are our top 10 artifact sets and what type of champions to put in them. Skratch, thank you so much for joining me, man. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, let us know what your favorite artifact set is that wasn't on the list. I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. Thanks for watching till the end, and as always, take care, guys.